A 28-year-old street fighter spent 4 weeks terrorizing a 73-year-old shopkeeper until 8 seconds of Wing Chun changed everything. Welcome back to Tales of Wonder. If you enjoy stories about karma, unexpected twists, and moments where bullies get exactly what they deserve, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that'll make you think twice about judging a book by its cover. Now, let's begin today's story. The small herb shop on Stockton Street had stood in San Francisco's Chinatown for 47 years. Its wooden sign, weathered by coastal fog and time, read Lin's Traditional Medicine in faded gold characters. Inside, the air hung thick with the scent of dried ginseng, star anise, and centuries-old healing wisdom. Behind the counter stood Mr. Henry Lin, 73 years old, 5 feet 6 inches tall, maybe 145 pounds after a heavy meal. His hands, gnarled and liver-spotted, moved with unhurried precision as he measured herbs into paper packets for Mrs. Chen's arthritis remedy. Henry had owned this shop since 1978, the year he immigrated from Hong Kong with nothing but a single suitcase and memories he rarely discussed. His daily routine never varied. Open at 8 a.m., sweep the sidewalk, arrange the herb jars, and serve the neighborhood's elderly Chinese population, who still trusted traditional medicine over pills. He wore the same style of clothes every day, simple cotton shirts, loose-fitting pants, and cloth shoes that whispered against the wooden floor. To the younger generation rushing past his shop toward the bubble tea cafes and dim-sum fusion restaurants, he was invisible, just another old immigrant, fading into the wallpaper of a neighborhood rapidly gentrifying. But invisibility has its advantages. It lets you observe. It lets you wait. The trouble started on a Tuesday morning in late September. His name was Marcus Tang, 28 years old, 6 feet 2 inches, 210 pounds of gym-sculpted muscle wrapped in designer streetwear. His Instagram account, @MarcusTheMonster, boasted 47,000 followers who watch him knock out opponents in underground street fighting videos. He moved into one of the new luxury condos 3 blocks away, the kind with floor-to-ceiling windows and a monthly rent that could feed a family for half a year. Marcus walked past Lin's shop every morning on his way to Revolution Fitness, the boutique gym where he trained influencers and tech bros in functional combat. He'd never noticed the old man before. Not really. Not until the morning, when he was filming himself for Instagram stories, did the shop's faded sign photobomb his shot. Yo, what the hell is this place? Marcus muttered into his phone as he zoomed in on the Chinese characters. Look at this, fam. They really got shops from like the 1800s still here. This is what's keeping the neighborhood from progressing for real. Henry, sweeping the sidewalk, said nothing. He'd learned long ago that silence was a form of strength. The broom whispered across the concrete in steady, rhythmic strokes, the same motion, the same centerline balance, as 1,000 other movements he'd practiced for 60 years. Marcus noticed the old man then, really noticed him, and something in that hunched posture, that submissive silence, triggered something in him. Maybe it reminded him of the grandfather who'd called him a disappointment. Maybe it was just the way the algorithm rewarded conflict. His followers spiked when he posted confrontational content. "Hey, old man," Marcus said, stepping closer with his phone still recording. "You speak English? Or just that ching chong shit?" Henry's hands tightened on the broom handle. Just slightly. Just enough. Then released. He looked up with eyes that had seen the Cultural Revolution, the fall of Hong Kong, the slow erosion of traditions he'd sworn to preserve. "I speak English," he said quietly. His accent was there, but soft, worn smooth like river stones. "This your store? This ancient-ass place?" "Yes. 47 years. Marcus laughed, the sound sharp in the morning quiet. 47 years of selling fake medicine to old people. That's wild, bro. You know we got real doctors now, right? CVS down the street." Henry returned to sweeping. The motion never changed rhythm. Different kind of healing. Yeah, the kind that doesn't work. Marcus stepped into the path of the broom, expensive sneakers planted wide. "You know what's wrong with this neighborhood, old man? All this backwards shit, making the whole area look like a museum. No wonder property value's been stuck." For 3 heartbeats, Henry stood still. Then he simply swept around Marcus's feet and continued down the sidewalk. The young man's reflection in the shop window showed confusion, like he'd swung at air and found nothing to hit. But Marcus wasn't done. He never was. The algorithm demanded consistency, escalation, and engagement. He posted the video that afternoon. Just met the oldest man in Chinatown, still living in 1950. Hashtag progress, hashtag San Francisco, hashtag old school. It got 3,400 likes and 847 comments, mostly laughing emojis and fire symbols. The harassment followed a pattern, an escalation that unfolded over exactly 4 weeks like a slow-motion collapse. Week 1. Verbal. Marcus would stop by twice a day, once in the morning, once after his evening training sessions. Always with the phone out. Always filming. What's good? Ancient history became his standard greeting. He'd lean against the doorframe, blocking customers who wanted to enter. Mrs. Wong, 81 years old with bad knees, had to ask him 3 times to move so she could get her blood pressure herbs. He made her wait until he finished his Instagram story. Henry never responded, never rose to the bait. He'd simply wait, patient as stone, until Marcus got bored and left. But his regular customers noticed. Mr. Yi, the barber from 2 doors down, offered to call the police. Henry shook his head. He is young. He does not know better yet. You got more patience than me, Henry, Mr. Yi said. That boy needs someone to teach him respect. Henry smiled, a thin expression that didn't reach his eyes. Perhaps, but not from police. Some lessons you must learn differently. Week 2. Property interference. Marcus started touching things. He'd walk into the shop, pick up herb jars, shake them, and put them back in the wrong places. Yo, what's this one do? Make my dick bigger? Give me superpowers. His laughter filled the small space like smoke. He'd move the wooden stool Henry sat on and hide the reading glasses the old man needed for precise doses. Small cruelties, the kind that left no marks but accumulated like water torture. The shop's other regulars began avoiding Henry's store after seeing Marcus outside. Bad energy, they said. Troublesome. Business dropped by 30% in 10 days. Henry said nothing, but his hands moved more slowly through the herbs, and sometimes he'd stand at the back of the shop, looking at a faded photograph in a wooden frame. A young Chinese man in a traditional stance, hand extended, beside a master whose face had been creased by both wisdom and time. Week 3. Physical escalation. Marcus began the accidental contact. A shoulder bump when passing Henry on the sidewalk. A shove disguised as reaching for the door. Once he tripped and knocked over an entire display of carefully arranged ginseng roots, each worth $40, some aged for 6 years. They scattered across the floor like broken promises. Oh shit, my bad, old man, Marcus said, phone in hand, recording Henry on his knees collecting the roots. These things important? Damn, that's crazy. Maybe you should put them somewhere safer, you know? Your hand's probably too shaky anyway. That video got 8,200 likes. The comment section is filled with laughing emojis and flame reactions. A few people, very few, said it had gone too far. Marcus blocked them. Henry knelt on the floor, collecting each root and inspecting them for damage. His breathing never changed, even centered. His fingers, those supposedly shaky hands, moved with absolute precision, checking each root's integrity with touches so light they barely registered. Mr. Yi and 3 other shopkeepers watched from across the street. Someone needs to stop this, Mr. Yi said. This is not right. Call the police, Mrs. Liu from the tea shop suggested. No evidence, Mr. Yi replied. Marcus is too smart. Makes everything look like accident. And Henry just takes it. But taking and accepting are different things. Henry understood this. Had understood it since 1963, when his master first taught him that yielding is not surrender. It's positioning. Week 4 brought the breaking point. It was a Friday afternoon. The sidewalk was crowded with weekend tourists looking for authentic experiences they could photograph and forget. Marcus arrived with 2 friends from the gym, both of them filming, both of them feeding off his energy like pilot fish following a shark. Henry was helping Ms. Tanaka, a 76-year-old Japanese woman who'd been his customer for 20 years, select herbs for her husband's diabetes management. Marcus walked straight through the door, no greeting, and stood between Henry and Ms. Tanaka. Excuse me, Henry said quietly. No, I don't think I will. Marcus smiled at his friend's cameras. I've been real patient with you, old man. Real patient. But I'm thinking maybe it's time for you to retire. Sell this place to someone who knows what century it is. You feeling me? I do not wish to sell. I don't give a fuck what you wish. Marcus leaned down, his face inches from Henry's. Close enough that the old man could smell the protein shake on his breath, see the dilation of pupils that suggested more than caffeine in his pre-workout. You're gonna sell? Or I'm gonna make your life so miserable you'll beg to leave. Every day, old man. Every single day, I'ma be here. And there ain't shit you can do about it. Ms. Tanaka gasped. She pressed herself against the herb cabinet, frightened. Henry looked at Marcus for a long moment. Really looked at him. Saw past the muscles, past the bravado, down to the insecure boy who needed strangers' validation to feel real. Then Henry did something he hadn't done in 4 weeks. He smiled. Not a warm smile. Not a grandfather's gentle expression. This smile belonged to someone else, someone younger, harder, forged in a different world with different rules. "You should leave now," Henry said softly. "Or what?" Marcus pushed Henry's shoulder. Not hard enough to knock him down. The old man was too light, but enough to make him stumble back 3 steps. "What are you gonna do, old man? Call the cops? Post about it on Facebook? You're nothing. You're—" Henry moved. Not fast. Not in the way Marcus understood speed. No wasti motion. No telegraphed intent. His left hand rose from his side, intercepted Marcus's second push before it landed, and redirected it past his shoulder with a spiral that made Marcus's own force turn against him. The young man stumbled forward off balance, confused by how his 210 pounds suddenly felt like it belonged to someone else. Henry's right hand came up, just 5 inches of travel, and stopped exactly 1 inch from Marcus's solar plexus. The movement was so controlled, so absolutely precise, that Marcus felt the displacement of air against his chest through his shirt. "Bayuji," Henry said quietly, thrusting fingers. "This is the 1-inch punch. If I had extended, your breathing would stop for 5 minutes. You would vomit. You would need hospital." I did not extend. Marcus tried to jerk backward, but Henry's left hand had somehow migrated to his wrist, not gripping, just touching, but in a way that made Marcus's entire arm feel locked in stone. The old man's fingers rested on 3 precise pressure points that Marcus didn't know existed until they sang with paralyzed lightning. "Wing Chun," Henry continued, his voice carrying the same calm tone he used to explain herbal remedies. "The style of IP man. I began training in 1963. I was 13. My master was Wang Shunliang, who learned directly from Ip Man himself in Hong Kong. I trained 6 hours a day for 15 years. Then I came to America and trained in secret for 40 more years, because to practice openly would invite challenges. Men like you, who think muscles mean strength." Marcus's friends had their phones up, but they'd stopped laughing. The camera captured everything. The old man barely reaching Marcus's shoulder, holding the younger fighter immobile with touches that looked gentle as moth wings. Henry released Marcus's wrist and stepped back. The young man stumbled, catching himself against the counter. His arm tingled with returning circulation, pins and needles racing from shoulder to fingertip. "You know about it, man?" Henry asked. "Bruce Lee's teacher. The grandmaster who brought Wing Chun to the world. He had many students. Wang Shunliang was called the king of talking with the hands because he fought in Beima challenge matches and won over 60 consecutive fights. Wang taught me because my father saved his life during the Japanese occupation. I was his last student before he died in 1997. He made me promise to preserve the art, to practice it, to never use it for ego." Henry walked to the back of the shop, pulled out the wooden frame he sometimes stared at. He showed it to Marcus. The photograph showed a younger Henry, maybe 40, still strong, with black hair, in a perfect Wing Chun stance beside a Chinese man with kind eyes, hands in tan sao. The dedication written in Chinese characters had faded, but was still legible. "Wang Shunliang," Henry said, pointing to his master. This was taken in 1991, 6 years before he passed. "He told me that true martial arts are not for showing off. It is for protection, for discipline, for understanding yourself." He set the frame down gently. I promised him I would not fight unless I had no choice. Marcus found his voice, though it came out smaller than he wanted. You can't just assault people, old man. I got this on video. I'll sue your ass. You will do nothing." The voice came from the doorway. Mr. Yi stood there, his own phone out along with 6 other shopkeepers, all filming. "We have 4 weeks of videos, Marcus. 4 weeks of you harassing Henry, threatening him, destroying his property, blocking his customers. Everything." Mrs. Liu stepped forward. "I sent compilation to my nephew. He is lawyer. Very good lawyer. He says Henry has case for restraining order, for harassment, for loss of business. He says your videos are confession." Marcus's face went pale. His friends had lowered their phones and edged toward the door. Henry raised a hand. "No lawyers. No police. Not necessary." He looked at Marcus, and there was something in that gaze. Not anger, not triumph, but something sadder and wiser. "You are young, strong. You have skill, I can see this. But you use strength to hurt weak people because it makes you feel powerful. This is not strength. This is fear. He stepped closer. Marcus flinched. I could have broken your arm just now. 47 places on the arm where small pressure creates large pain. I could have struck your throat, your eyes, your knees. All the places your gym training does not protect. But I did not. You know why? Marcus said nothing. Because breaking you would teach nothing, would change nothing. You would only be angry, only want revenge. This is not the way. Henry picked up a business card from the counter, wrote something on the back, and handed it to Marcus. This is a dress in my friend's school. Traditional Wing Chun, taught correctly. No ego, no Instagram, real training. If you want to learn real strength, not muscle strength, but mind strength, spirit strength, you go there. Tell Sifu Chun that Henry Lin sent you. He will teach you for free because I asked him. Marcus stared at the card as it might bite him. Or, Henry continued, you continue your path. More videos, more fighting, more empty strength. Eventually, you meet someone younger, stronger, meaner. And you'll be like me, old, small, weak-looking. Except you will have no real skill to protect you. Just old muscles and old videos nobody watches anymore. The video went viral by Sunday evening. Not Marcus's video, though that circulated too, shared with mockery across martial arts forums and Reddit's Justice Serve page. No, the video that really exploded came from one of Marcus's friends, who'd posted the full encounter to TikTok without thinking about the consequences. Wing Chun Grandmaster humbles Street Fighter got 4.7 million views in 36 hours. The comment sections filled with martial arts enthusiasts dissecting Henry's technique frame by frame. Perfect Bayou G structure, someone wrote. Look at his root, doesn't move an inch. Another comment, Wong Shunliang's student? Holy shit, this man is legit. Wong was Bruce Lee's main sparring partner. By Monday morning, 3 journalists had contacted Henry's shop. He declined all interviews. I am herb seller, he told them. Not story, but the story found him anyway. Someone cross-referenced his name and discovered immigration records showing his arrival from Hong Kong in 1978, the same year Wong Shunliang began teaching a more limited curriculum due to health issues. Martial arts historians confirmed that Wong had indeed taken a final private student, a young man whose father had been part of the resistance against Japanese occupation. Marcus's Instagram followers began deserting. The tough guy image had crumbled the moment that video showed him immobilized by a 73-year-old man who barely came up to his shoulder. Revolution Fitness received enough complaints about Marcus's behavior that they mutually agreed to part ways, which meant fired. His other sponsors, a supplement company and a streetwear brand, quietly pulled their support. The underground fighting promoters stopped calling. Nobody wanted to book a fighter who got handled by Grandpa. But the real change happened Thursday afternoon, 1 week after the incident. Marcus walked into Lin's traditional medicine. No phone, no cameras, no friends. Just him, wearing a plain t-shirt and looking younger somehow, smaller. Henry was arranging dried chrysanthemum flowers in jars. He looked up, waited. I went to that address, Marcus said quietly. Sifu Chen School. Yes. He didn't go easy on me. Not all. Spent 2 hours just teaching me how to stand correctly. Said my stance was like a baby giraffe learning to walk. Marcus almost smiled, but it died before reaching his lips. He said I have bad habits. Said it'll take a year just to undo the ego before we can start real training. Henry nodded. Wong Shunliang told me the same thing. Took me 3 years to learn the first form correctly. Not just the movements, the meaning. I am sorry. The words came out in a rush, as if Marcus had been holding them back behind a dam. For all of it. The videos, the harassment, the everything. I thought I was strong. Thought I had it figured out. But that moment when you stopped me, when you could have hurt me and didn't, that scared me more than getting hit ever did. Fear is good teacher, Henry said. Better than pride. My followers dropped to 31,000. Lost my job. Lost my sponsors. Marcus laughed, bitter. Turns out humiliation is bad for the algorithm. Good. Henry's response was simple and direct. Now you can build something real. Not for cameras. For yourself. Marcus nodded. He turned to leave, then stopped. The card you gave me? On the back. You wrote something in Chinese. I had someone translate it. It said, this one has potential. Please be patient. Why would you write that? After everything I did. Henry set down the chrysanthemum jar. Because I see you, Marcus Tang. Not the muscles, not the Instagram account. I see a young man who is lost, who uses fighting to feel real. I was also like this long time ago. angry, lost, looking for respect in wrong places. My master saw past my anger to the person underneath. He gave me chance. Now I give you same chance. What if I waste it? Then you waste it. Is your choice, not mine. But wasting it means wasting yourself. And I think maybe you're tired of wasting yourself. Marcus stood there for a long moment, absorbing words that hit harder than any punch he'd ever taken. Then he bowed. Not the shallow performance bows he'd seen in movies, but something deeper, more genuine. Henry returned the bow with equal depth. After Marcus left, Mr. Yi appeared from his barber shop. You think he'll really change? Maybe, Henry said. Maybe not. But giving him a chance cost me nothing. And who knows? Wang Shunliang took a chance on an angry young man named Henry Lin. That young man became me. Perhaps Marcus becomes someone better than who he is today. And if he doesn't, Henry smiled. Then at least I kept my promise to my master. To teach when possible, to protect when necessary, to never use the art for ego. This is the way. 3 months later, Lin's traditional medicine received an unusual delivery. A new wooden sign, professionally carved, with characters in gold leaf that read Lin's traditional medicine since 1978. Beneath it, in smaller English script, honoring the old ways. The card attached said simply, "Thank you for seeing past what I showed the world. Marcus." By then, Marcus had deleted his Instagram account. Not deactivated, deleted. All 47,000 followers, all the fight videos, all the carefully curated images of toughness gone. He trained at Sifu Chin School 6 days a week, starting each session by sweeping the floor and cleaning the mats. The same tasks he'd once mocked Henry for doing. Sifu Chun reported to Henry that Marcus was progressing slowly, but sincerely. He asked questions. Real questions, not showing off questions. Yesterday, he asked me why we train forms if we never fight. I told him what Wang Shunliang told you. Forms teach you to fight yourself, and yourself is the hardest opponent. He understood. The viral video eventually faded from the internet's collective memory, replaced by newer outrages and fresher content. But left ripples. Sifu Chin School welcomed 63 new students in 3 months, many of them young men who'd seen the video and wanted to learn real martial arts, not gym stuff. Chun had to turn people away, accepting only those willing to commit to the traditional training path. Henry's shop saw changes, too. Younger customers started appearing, asking about herbs, the photograph on the wall, Wing Chun, and the old ways. Henry would answer their questions while measuring their remedies, never pushing, never advertising. Just being what he'd always been, a keeper of traditions, a guardian of knowledge earned through discipline and time. The most unexpected change came 6 months after the incident. Marcus asked Henry if he could bring someone to meet him. That someone turned out to be Marcus's younger brother, James, 17 years old, and heading down the same path Marcus had walked. Angry, directionless, looking for identity in Instagram likes and street credibility. I told him about you, Marcus said, standing in the shop with his brother, shifting uncomfortably beside him. Told him how a 73-year-old man taught me more in 8 seconds than I learned in 10 years of fighting. He didn't believe me until he saw the video. Henry studied James, seeing the same lost anger he'd seen in Marcus. The same hunger for respect disguised as aggression. You want to learn Wing Chun? I don't know, James said. Maybe. Marcus says it changed his life, but I don't see how standing in weird positions and moving slow is going to help me in a real fight. Henry smiled. Then you were exactly where your brother was. And exactly where I was when I was 13 years old and angry at a world that did not respect me. He pulled out 2 business cards and wrote on both. Handed one to James, kept one on the counter. This one is for Sifu Chun. He will teach you if you're serious. Not if you want to win fights. Not if you want Instagram followers. Only if you want to learn who you really are underneath all the anger. And the other card, Marcus asked, is for you. Henry smiled. I think, maybe, you are ready to learn the second form. Chum Kiu, seeking the bridge, is about connecting your power to your opponent, about finding balance in conflict. You have been training basic stance and Shunim Tao for 6 months. Sifu Chun says your root is strong now. Time for next step. Marcus's eyes widened. You're going to teach me, not teach. Wang Shunliang taught me. Sifu Chun teaches you. I will show you what my master showed me, because this is how tradition continues. From master to student to student. The art does not belong to me. It belongs to the lineage. I am just keeper, passing it forward. As the brothers left together, James pestering Marcus with questions about training. Henry returned to his herbs, his hands moving with the same precision they'd used for 73 years. The same precision Wang Shunliang had taught him. The same precision Ip Man had taught Wang. The same precision that perhaps James and others like him would carry into whatever future awaited them. Outside, the new sign caught the afternoon light, gold characters gleaming. Tourists walked past without noticing, absorbed in their phones, hunting for the next photo opportunity. But the neighborhood regulars, the old-timers who remembered when Chinatown had been a refuge, not a theme park, they noticed. They nodded to Henry through the window, recognition passing between those who understood that the old ways weren't backward or obsolete. They were simply waiting, patient as stone, precise as breath, ready for the moment when the world remembered that strength without wisdom is just violence, and power without discipline is just noise. And that sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who has nothing left to prove. Have you ever underestimated someone because of their age or appearance, only to discover they possess skills or wisdom that completely change your perspective? If this story reminded you that true strength isn't always loud or obvious, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps us share these stories with more people who need to hear them. Drop a comment below about a time when someone surprised you by being far more capable than you thought. Maybe it was an elderly neighbor, a quiet coworker, or someone you overlooked because they didn't fit your expectations. And definitely subscribe and turn on notifications, because we've got more stories coming that celebrate the wisdom that comes with age and the traditions that shape generations before us. Thanks for watching, and remember, the person you dismissed today might be the master who could have taught you everything tomorrow. See you in the next video.